morning, friends. Today, I'm going to read Rosa Parks. This is a true story, so it is nonfiction. Nonfiction means that it really happened. And I hope you enjoy the story. Rosa Parks. Who was Rosa Parks? Can you imagine a world where white children could ride a school bus every morning, but black children had to walk? Can you imagine a world where black people couldn't drink from the same water fountain as white people or sit with them on a city bus? This world was real and it happened in the United States. There was a time when black people had to use separate back entrances to movie theaters and restaurants. Some white people felt they should be treated better than black people. Segregation laws were used to give more rights and a better life to white people. Rosa Parks helped change these unfair laws by thinking and acting. She stood up for herself and others her whole life. See, he's drinking from this water fountain and it says for colored only. That's what they called black people back then, colored people. This is a quote from Rosa Parks. She said, "I did not resist being mistreated. I would spend the rest of my life being mistreated." Rosa Parks was born as Rosa Louise McCauley on February 4th, 1913, in Tuskegee, Alabama. She lived on a farm with her parents and grandparents. She was a small, quiet girl. She loved to read nursery rhymes and fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood. She also helped take care of her little brother, Sylvester. That's her when she was little. Until she was an adult. Oh, that's not her. This is just a picture. Little Red Riding Hood. I thought that was like a baby picture or something. Rosa's grandparents were born as slaves. They taught her that all people deserve fair treatment. When Rosa was a child, slavery was over, but white people still had more freedom than black people. Like the people pictured here, all black Americans were free in the 1920s. However, unfair laws made their lives difficult. One day when Rosa was 11, a white boy pushed her. She pushed back. The boy's mother told Rosa she would go to jail. Rosa stood up for herself. She told them she didn't want to be pushed. When she was 11 years old, Rosa moved to Montgomery, Alabama to attend this school, the Montgomery Industrial School for Girls. So this is a school for all girls. To help her parents pay for school after sixth grade, Rosa cleaned classrooms in the afternoon. So she was like 11 years old cleaning classrooms in this big building to help pay for her school. When Rosa was a girl in the 1920s, many things were different from how they are today. Transportation. White people and black people paid the same price to ride the bus, but they didn't have the same rules. White people could sit up front, but black people have to sit in the back. A chocolate bar, like our Snickers and Reese Cups, a candy bar only costs 3 cents. Today it's like $1.29. In 1920, women were allowed to vote for the very first time in U.S. history. Children play games like marbles and kick the can, which is similar to hide and seek. Many black children in the southern United States went to school only 6 months a year because they had to work in the fields to help their families. For the same reason, most black children didn't go to school past the sixth grade. So they didn't go to school past the sixth grade in the 1920s. When Rosa was 19 years old, she married Raymond Parks. They lived in Montgomery. She got a job as a seamstress in a department store. She sold clothes to fit customers. The people in this photo, Rosa Parks helped black people sign up to vote. There were many challenges. Parks herself tried 3 times before she was allowed to sign up to vote. Rosa also wanted to spread the word about civil rights. She attended meetings, rallies, and marches. She taught young people how to stand up for themselves. She helped people who were hurt by those who did not believe in civil rights. Standing up for civil rights was not easy, but Parks never gave up. Between 1945 and 1955, some Montgomery bus drivers wouldn't let Parks ride because she had a habit of refusing to give up her seat to white people. On the night of December 1st, 1955, Parks took the bus home after work. She sat down in a seat in the middle of the bus. After a few stops, the bus grew crowded. The driver asked Parks to stand so a white man could sit. She thought about the unfairness she'd faced all her life. She felt she had as much right to sit in the seat as anyone else, no matter the color of her skin. This diagram of a bus shows where Parks was sitting on the night of December 1st, 1955. So this is the front of the bus and this is the back of the bus, and Rosa Parks was sitting right there. Parks looked the driver in the eye. In a quiet voice, she answered, "No." She thought that she would not get off the bus alive. This is the bus that Rosa Parks rode on December 1st, 1955. This is the bus right here. She must have been scared. Black people had been arrested for refusing to give up a seat on the bus. Some had even been hurt or killed for doing the same thing. People on the bus, black and white, feared what would happen. That's just passengers on the bus. See all of the black people in the back. The bus driver called the police. The police arrested Parks. At her trial, the court found her guilty of breaking a state segregation law. She was forced to pay a fine. She says, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Parks faced the police many times as she fought for civil rights. This photo is from one arrest. That's a picture of Rosa Parks when they took her to jail. Word spread about what had happened. Parks' act inspired people to stand up for fair and equal treatment. When the police officer told her he was going to arrest her on the bus that day, she replied, "You may do that." And that's her. They're getting her fingerprints. Black leaders asked people to protest unfair rules by taking part in the bus boycott. A young preacher named Martin Luther King Jr. made a speech. He urged people to stick together. It was not easy for people to get to work in other places without the bus, but people kept the boycott going. It lasted more than a year. Finally, the Supreme Court ruled that everyone had the same rights on buses. And there's a picture of them boycotting the buses. So basically, they stood outside at bus stops and they didn't get on. They refused to ride the bus. So the bus drivers, the bus companies, couldn't make any money because they weren't paying to ride the bus anymore. They were all walking to work or getting there the best way they could. Seven cool facts about Rosa Parks. One, she was not the first black person to refuse to give up a seat on the bus, but her actions sparked the famous bus boycott that helped change unfair laws. Parks was part Native American. In Montgomery, Alabama, you can visit the bus stop where police arrested Parks. In 2012, President Barack Obama sat on the bus Parks was riding when she refused to give up her seat. The bus is on display at the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit, Michigan. Today, a statue of Rosa Parks stands in the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. When Rosa Parks died in 2005, bus drivers in Montgomery and Detroit honored her by reserving their front seats. Many people call Parks the mother of the civil rights movement. That's her. That's the museum. That's when she died. They saved the seats up front. And there's Barack Obama sitting on the bus where she sat. And that's the statue that's in the Capitol in D.C. And that's a picture of her when she was older. Parks paid a price for protesting after her arrest. Parks and her husband lost their jobs. Angry people threatened them. Finally, in 1957, they left Montgomery and moved to Detroit. In 1965, Parks took a job with a black congressman named John Conyers. For the next 20 years, she worked in Conyers' office. Rosa Parks continued to stand up for civil rights. She attended meetings and peaceful protests. She even helped black people fight unfairness in other countries like South Africa. Many people know about Rosa Parks' life because she refused to give up her seat on the bus that day in 1955. But now you know she spent her whole life standing up for fair treatment. Rosa Parks died on October 24, 2005 at age 92. After her death, she was given great honors like the ones president and soldiers received. There is her with our used to be President Bill Clinton. In 1996, President Bill Clinton awarded Parks the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Alright, that's the end of our story. I hope you learned something new about Rosa Parks. I know that I did. And if you hadn't heard of her, I hope you enjoyed hearing her story. See you again.